there everyone, welcome back to James Redmond TV and a slightly different setup. I'm in my friend's house at the moment, so we're not in the usual plain background. We've got a cupboard to be able to show on display, and I'm using a laptop to lean me camera against. So welcome back. Smash a like only if you enjoy. If you don't, then you know what to do. But we're here in this video. Obviously, you know that we've just signed that main man Szoboszlai, and Szoboszlai, I'm still getting told I'm saying his name wrong, but we know that he's going to be class. I feel like we've all came to the conclusion that that's a great addition, and I'm glad that we have came to that conclusion. And it doesn't mean it's guaranteed success. And someone even made a point to me earlier about, James, don't you think it's a bit too early to be comparing him to De Bruyne? And me personally, I think that most certainly is too early. But I like to analyse the attributes. And in terms of the attributes, he's a great shooter. He can pass the ball well, and his dribbling's fantastic. And I think he even surpasses De Bruyne in the dribbling department. The other two, you've got to get years and years to even get close to that level. So, while simultaneously still paying KDB respect, this is also a top player. But the player I want to talk about is Lavia. Romeo Lavia, if you don't know, I mean, he plays for Southampton, young CDM. You've probably heard about him to this point. He is someone, according to a lot of Southampton journalists, he is going to be the next addition over the line. Now, guys, I have to make it very, very clear. We need a DM. And although I'm happy with the addition of Dominic, I do know that having Fabinho going forward into the season, it's not something I fully feel comfortable with. I think for the past 18 months, Fabinho has been questionable in many senses. So now if he goes out, shows that urgency, got that little bit of squad depth that competes with him, then maybe we can see the best out of Fabinho while Lavia develops. But having Henderson and Fabinho as our two number sixes is a tough one. Now, where I was reluctant to think that, we're going to actually sign Lavia, Henderson staying, Fabinho staying, Thiago staying. So if these three players are staying, Curtis and Harvey aren't going anywhere. So I'm thinking we've got a lot of midfielders, so where's the room for one more number six when you've already got Henderson, Fabinho, Bajcetic, Tyler Morton still yet to leave? So it's very intriguing to know where that's, or what the vision is with our CDMs. And I thought because of Bajcetic, and a lot of people assume this as well, Bajcetic, is Lavia really much better than Bajcetic is being the question. Could Bajcetic play for Southampton if he was available for it? It's those type of things where, if we've already got the guy, why go out and spend another 40 million on another? But the things that I've seen from Lavia, I think he can add to our team. I think he can give us that defensive solidity. The only question is, out of the money we're spending on Lavia, what else is that taken away from? Will we still get that defender that we very much need? Because, a CDM and a centre-back would be fantastic. So if we are looking to get both, I think this will end up being the best window that we've had probably since we signed Alisson, Virgil van Dijk, after we sold Coutinho. I mean, Van Dijk was January, but then when we sold Coutinho was January, then we bought Van Dijk, and then in that summer we bought Fabinho, Alisson. So it's just about reinforcing that urgency, game by game by game, showing that, listen, we've got to do a rebuild, we've got to buy these players, we've got to make sure that they adhere to the team. And I think Lavia could, but you've just got to open that debate. What happens to Morton? What happens to Bajcetic? Because I know a lot of you guys do rate them. I know a lot of, Tyler Morton was the next Jordan Henderson at one point, and then now Bajcetic is the next Thiago. But I've always said it's a little bit too soon. So if it's too soon for Bajcetic, and we don't know if it's too soon for Lavia, it's a bit of a tough one. Can it take you from 5th to 1st? Which, again, I always like to re-emphasise that is what we're looking to achieve, or get as close to it as possible. That being said, we do know Jurgen's literally one of the best when it comes to developing young players. And with that in mind, you've got to give him full faith and full reign to be able to control this squad in how he wants to. So then the next part of the video that I want to sort of delve into, just as a hypothetical, how do Liverpool line up next season? So when you think about it, when you think about from the starting 11, it's probably going to still stay the same formation, and with a few tweaks in terms of how we play systematically. What I'm leading to is this is how I think we'll line up. But then I'm also taking into consideration if we get Lavia and then ex-centre-back, because it could be, a lot of people raise the name of Inacio from Sporting Lisbon, but we've just got to wait and see because there's a whole situation there regarding them. So let me know your starting 11s. I'll give you mine. In goal, Alisson, no doubt. Back four, Robertson, Trent, Virgil van Dijk and Konate. I think that's just the back four for now. And then whoever becomes that new centre-back can be a rotational centre-back. Because one thing that we know is that Matip's going to be on his way out in the next 12 months. Therefore, that's got to be accommodated. Midfield, I would go with the midfield of Fabinho, Shobo and McAllister. But then if Thiago's fit, can you ever dismiss the brilliance that Thiago can bring on a game? It's a great option to have, and even though he will end up going for free the same way Matip will end up going for free, it is amazing to have that level of quality on your bench. If you have Thiago on your bench, that is Manchester City type stuff. If you have someone of the quality of Joe Matip on your bench, it's Man City type stuff. So then it minimises those excuses about the squad depth, because now going into the new season, we can really see what Klopp can do with another big team, because we've seen what he can do in the past. The last time we had a big squad, Minamino was winning us the League Cup and all these things. So that's my midfield three. So far, Alisson, Robbo, Trent, Virg, Konate, Fabinho, Shobo and McAllister. And then the front three, I would line up with Diaz, Gakpo and Salah, or Diaz, Jota and Salah. That would be my front three. And then Núñez comes off the bench as a just a different type of player, different type of option. And then hopefully, as all you like to say, Núñez will be good enough in 2-3 years' time, or maybe even in 12 months' time. But if he's not ready right now, let him learn from the best. And then if he can fulfill the potential that a lot of people seems that he could, then we can work from that. But I'm really intrigued to know your starting 11s as well, because even though I said Fabinho there, if we can get someone else of high quality in that defensive midfielder position, even if it was Lavia, I thought there were some good things that I saw from Lavia last year. And listen, 30, 40 million, it's not my money. And yes, I do try and look ahead. I think, okay, if we're spending 40 million on him, does it take away from the centre-back? Is there a big name that we're looking at, like a big midfielder, big attacker? But I know we're not going to sign Mbappe and Bellingham, but let's say whoever the next one of those guys are, will we have the funds to purchase them? And that's the one thing that I like to ask. But I feel like it's important to enjoy the right here, right now. Enjoy the fact that we've made two very much well-needed signings, and it's actually promising from the journalists that we're looking into Lavia. Now, whether it's Lavia or somebody else, what actually matters is that we're looking into a CDM, because I'm sure me, you and your mother would agree that we do need to get that new bit more solidity in front of the back line. And it's just interesting. It's guys, be excited. It's an exciting time to be a Liverpool fan. It's an exciting time to go into a new season where I know the Europa League isn't good. And listen, I'm not trying to say that it was good, but now we've got to accept it. Let's make the most out of it. Let's do what other English teams haven't been able to do, which is win the Europa League. United done it in 2016 or something like that. We failed the year before. Both United and Arsenal got knocked out last year. Let's add the European element. We're going to be going to Dublin. We need immense squad depth to be able to accommodate the Europa League games. And this would be the good thing about squad depth, is that in the group stage games, it gives players like Bajcetic, a chance maybe to play in the number 8, as some people think he can play. And, if Lavia comes, then he can play in those games. It's just a very interesting thing. And what I love to see, we're now seeing that dynamic shift of the reliable older players to this new second team that Klopp's building. And then when he goes, we might get that new manager who maybe wants to rotate the squad that little bit more. Because as we all know, Klopp has been a bit too much of a fan favourite to some of his players. He does keep hold of them for too long. I mean, even wanting to keep James Milner was absolutely ludicrous. But thankfully, he's not in control of the transfers. But guys, let me know, would you take Lavia? How would you line up in the Liverpool, or how do you think Liverpool will line up next season? And all that being said, if you could just leave a like, that'd be boss. We're still getting videos done every day, even when I'm in my brother's house. Well, it's not my literal brother, but he's my guy, so I call him that. I'm an only child, in case you didn't know. No brothers or sisters. Feels like I've got a sister, and then I've got loads of brothers, you know what I mean? And then I've got all yous, which is just boss. Big family. Guys, much love to you and everyone who's watching. And yeah, I'll see you all later. Peace.